My GPS showed my car moving, but the map around it stayed frozen. I'd been driving for hours or maybe minutes, I couldn't tell. The road was a black ribbon cutting through dense forest, edges blurred by shadows and the faint glimmer of my headlights. The trees leaned close on either side, their trunks slick with condensation, branches scratching each other in whispers I couldn't quite place. The hum of my tires on asphalt was hypnotic, a low, steady vibration that seemed to pulse through the wheel into my palms. The dashboard lights flickered intermittently, and I kept adjusting the dimmer, though the glow never felt enough. My phone had lost signal miles back. Cell service was patchy, unreliable at best, leaving me with only the car's GPS to track my progress. That's when I noticed it. The tiny car icon moved steadily forward, but the map around it remained completely blank. No roads, no markers, no terrain, just a featureless gray grid. I blinked, tapped the screen, zoomed in. Nothing changed. The car moved, but the map did not. I laughed nervously. Must be a glitch, I muttered to myself, but the sound felt hollow, swallowed immediately by the oppressive silence outside. Not a bird, not a rustle of leaves, nothing but the tires, the engine hum, and the occasional thump of my own heartbeat echoing inside the cabin. I glanced at the road ahead. Familiar trees passed, or at least I thought they were familiar, but then I realized the same knot of pines, the same twisted birch appeared twice within seconds. I slammed on the brakes, heart jumping. The sign I had just passed, yellow, diamond-shaped, unreadable in the dim light, loomed again ahead, identical in every crooked detail. Impossible. I gripped the steering wheel tighter. My reflection in the rearview mirror looked pale and anxious, eyes wide in the flickering dashboard glow. The GPS moved. The car moved. But the world outside repeated itself, looping, mocking me with a perverse precision. I tried to shake it off. I turned the wheel slightly, made a wide arc to avoid the next repeat of that yellow sign. The map did not adjust. The trees did not change. And then the GPS flickered. A new symbol appeared. A jagged spiral, luminescent, hovering where the map had once been blank. Coordinates flashed below it. Nonsense numbers that meant nothing, impossible latitude and longitude. I whispered, "What the hell?" The spiral pulsed once, twice, and then a message scrawled itself across the GPS in tiny, trembling letters. "I see you." I slammed my hand on the steering wheel. My mind raced. I told myself I was imagining it, that I had been driving too long in the dark, too tired, too isolated. But the spiral remained, and the car kept moving forward on the frozen grid. Every curve of the road was familiar, every tree a mirrored copy of the last, and yet the GPS continued its impossible motion, stubbornly refusing to update the map. I tried to backtrack, to turn around. Every turn led me back to the same point. The same yellow sign, the same twisted birch. And always the GPS moved. Forward. Ever forward. The wind picked up, rattling the side mirrors and scraping along the asphalt like fingernails on slate. Fog rolled in, thick and choking, muffling sound until the hum of tires felt like it came from inside my skull, not the road. I squinted into the gray murk. Another yellow sign appeared, this one cracked, covered in moss, but unmistakably the same as the ones before. I blinked. It disappeared, then reappeared in the rearview mirror, impossibly close. I pressed my foot to the accelerator, heart hammering. The GPS icon moved. The trees repeated. A whisper of movement brushed the side of the car, though I saw no one. Something in the fog pressed against the windshield. Not a hand, not a figure, but a presence. Cold, patient, watching. I reached for the GPS, zoomed in. The jagged spiral had multiplied into a lattice of symbols, intricate, unreadable, but arranged in patterns that felt deliberate, intelligent. Then the message changed. Turn left. I froze. The road ahead was empty forest. No junctions, no forks, just the narrow ribbon of asphalt stretching endlessly. But the GPS insisted. Turn left. I swerved. Tires screamed. The car skidded onto gravel that shouldn't exist, narrow and impossible. But the road held. The forest on either side leaned closer, branches twisting overhead as if to inspect me. And when I straightened the wheel, the same yellow sign appeared again. I realized then that the forest wasn't just repeating, it was aware, testing me, hurting me, or perhaps leading me somewhere I could not understand. The GPS blinked again. New coordinates, unreadable symbols, spirals that pulsed with light synchronized to my heartbeat. And then the text changed. "Do you see now?" I didn't answer. Couldn't. My hands shook, gripping the wheel. I dared a glance into the rearview mirror. The road behind was empty. The trees were empty. The fog swallowed everything. But I could feel the spiral of symbols behind me, watching, folding around the asphalt like a predator stalking its prey, patient and deliberate. I drove, or perhaps the road drove me. Time had no meaning. The hum of the tires and engine became my heartbeat. The road repeated, the signs repeated, the trees repeated. The GPS moved, always knowing. At some point, I realized I had stopped noticing the road itself. I only watched the car icon, sliding forward across a featureless gray plain. My thoughts felt mirrored, the GPS responding with tiny, deliberate pulses, coordinates that no human could read, symbols that whispered of a language older than memory. I screamed once. The sound was swallowed by the forest. And then I laughed because there was nothing else to do. The car moved. The map did not. Hours, days, or perhaps centuries later. I cannot say. My hands remain on the wheel, eyes fixed on the luminescent screen. The yellow signs pass by endlessly. The same twisted birch, the same fog-thickened asphalt. The spiral pulses. The coordinates shimmer. And now the message is simple, almost gentle. You are home. I cannot leave. I do not want to. The car moves. The map stays frozen. And somewhere, deep within the layers of impossible symbols and repeated forest, I understand. I was never meant to find my way out. The road, the GPS, the forest, they are one, and they know me. And now, so do I. A voice whispered from the glove compartment, asking for directions. I had pulled over on a narrow turnout just off the highway, the kind of place that seemed to exist only to remind travelers how alone they were. Fog hung low over the forest, curling around the road like a restless tide, and the headlights cut through it in thin, trembling beams. My car's engine idled faintly, the low hum filling the cabin alongside the occasional rustle of leaves. I wiped condensation from the windshield with the sleeve of my jacket. My fingers left streaks across the glass, but it didn't matter. The fog pressed against the outside like a living thing. Somewhere in the trees, a branch snapped, and I startled, though I was certain I had parked far from any footpath. Then the voice came. "Excuse me," it said, soft, calm, deliberate. "Could you give me directions?" I froze, my hand on the steering wheel. The words weren't loud. More a gentle hiss, a vibration that seemed to come from the very air in the car. I scanned the cabin, my breath fogging the rearview mirror. Nobody, not a single shape beyond myself. "Who's there?" I asked, my own voice sounding brittle, foreign. "Oh, don't be alarmed," it said, polite, measured. "I just need to know the way." Came from the glove compartment. I knew it, not just in some abstract sense. I knew that the sound originated there, a space meant for maps, receipts, the useless clutter of everyday life. I stared at the small latch, hand trembling, every rational thought screaming that it was impossible. "Directions?" I croaked. "To where?" The voice paused, and in that silence, I could hear the faint thrum of the car, the soft rasp of fog scraping against metal, and the trees brushing against each other outside like something alive. When it spoke again, it answered my unspoken thought. "Where you're going," it said. I laughed nervously. "That's not helpful." It chuckled, low and precise, like it had studied the cadence of my speech for years. "I thought it might be." I leaned back, eyes darting to the rearview mirror, then to the passenger seat. Empty. The glove compartment remained shut. Yet every instinct in me screamed that something was in there, and that it had been waiting for this moment. I don't even know where I'm going, I admitted, voice shaking. I'm just driving. Ah, it said. We are alike then. The words settled in my chest. I felt the fog pressing closer against the windows, thickening, dampening the world outside until the car was a bubble of distorted reality. My hands tightened on the wheel. For a moment, I thought I heard it shift inside the compartment, the faint metallic scratch of its movement brushing against the hinges. You remember me? It said suddenly, almost casually. Don't you? I swallowed, trying to keep my voice steady. I don't. I don't think so. A soft sigh, like whined through the vents. You do. That's why you're here. That's why you stopped. I forced a laugh, but it felt hollow. My mind searched for an explanation. Prank, hallucination, stress, but it was so precise, so intimate in the way it mirrored my thoughts, my hesitations. Every pause, every twitch of my hands seemed known, anticipated. You've been thinking about turning back, it said. I jerked upright. How could it know? I hadn't spoken it aloud. My stomach sank. I had been thinking of leaving this stretch of road, heading back to something safer, familiar. But now the words felt exposed, echoed by a voice that should not exist. I reached for the glove compartment, hand hovering over the latch. The voice spoke again, this time faster, yet still polite. Careful. Don't rush. I wouldn't want to startle you. I froze. Startle me? Startle me? Every rational thought in me fractured. The air in the car felt thicker, heavy with a presence I couldn't see, couldn't measure. I realized then that the voice didn't just know me. It had been waiting, learning, anticipating. Please, I said, voice barely above a whisper. Just leave me alone. Oh, I can't do that, it said softly. We're here together now. I pressed my palms to the wheel, the fog outside pressing against the glass in a wet, cold wave. I thought of opening the door, running into the mist, but something in the way the voice spoke, the patience, the deliberate calm, made me hesitate. I was no longer sure if I wanted to leave, or if leaving was even possible. Directions, it said again, lighter this time, almost playful. I need them. I won't get lost if you help me. I blinked, and the dashboard glow flickered in a rhythm that almost seemed to mimic my heartbeat. The faint engine hum rose and fell, syncing with the cadence of the voice, until I felt that the car itself had become a resonant chamber, amplifying its presence, folding me into it. You know things, I said, voice trembling. You know things about me that… Yes, it interrupted, calm, almost comforting. I know, and I will follow if you let me. I realized then that the voice had been shaping my decisions, steering me even before I heard it. Every hesitation, every thought of escape, was anticipated, folded back into the conversation. The glove compartment was not just a space. It was inside me. The fog thickened until the world beyond the windshield was an impenetrable gray. My pulse raced. The voice, soft and polite, whispered once more. Which way now? I didn't answer. Couldn't. I wanted to, but the words dissolved before leaving my mouth. My thoughts looped endlessly, circling the same fears, the same silent acknowledgments. I was not alone. I had never been alone. The glove compartment remained closed, but I felt the subtle pressure of something inside, patient, polite, learning me. Then the dashboard dimmed briefly, and in that moment, I saw a single word glow faintly across the GPS screen I hadn't noticed before. Ahead. The voice was still there, soft, calm, waiting. I started the engine, but the road stretched empty, unbroken by signs or markers. The fog swallowed the headlights beyond their narrow reach. I didn't move, couldn't. I understood then. The voice didn't need directions to reach a place. It needed directions to understand me, and I was already lost.